Yep, here we go. So, welcome to the finals for Virgo Cup. We start with the Category A final here between Vikingos Nomadas in the even colors and Aja the Elite in the odd colors. Let's start introducing the players. We will just start with blue as we usually do. In the blue, we have Brutus playing as the Ethiopians. In the green, we have Toromantico playing as the Teutons. In the teal, we have Rokola playing as the Magyars. And then in the gray, we have Kicking playing as the Bohemians. Ooh, interesting choice. On the other side for Vikingos Nomadas, we have Allegria playing in the orange as the Vietnamese. In the purple, we have Milancolin playing as the Persians in the purple. Teletubby Violetta playing as the Franks in the yellow here. And last but not least, we have Wineland playing in the red as the Mayans. Very nice. Alright, these are some solid civ picks all around. I mean, there's not really a civilization that I would really say stands out. Maybe Bohemians, right? Because Bohemians it's a newer civilization. It's not really it hasn't been really figured out completely yet. Like, people are still devising new strategies with it, as they should with any new civ, because, well, this deer is totally trolling Kicking right now. Yeah, you gotta love the deer, huh? What is this deer doing? Oh my god. That sometimes happens. It's very annoying, but yeah, don't kick yourself about it over it Kicking. That's just deer things, I guess. But yeah, Bohemians are they have potential, but they're definitely not like the top tier archer civ if you compare them to, say, Mayans, Vikings, Britons, Ethiopians, right? Those are some classic flank civs that come to mind when it comes to Patagonia, which is basically snowy Arabia, sort of. I'm still not sure which version of Arabia it was that they adapted here, but yeah. I do know it's not New Arabia, and that's probably a good thing. Although not New Arabia, or is it now New Arabia? We'll just call it King of the Desert 4 Arabia, and I'm glad that they changed it, by the way. That should silence all the criticism. You know, that's about as good as it's gonna get. So I'm happy with that one. In any case, let's have a talk about resources, shall we? Before people go up to the feudalate, before the fighting commences. We should talk about where the gold spots are for the flanks. And why we talk about the gold spots for the flanks specifically and not for the pockets is because in team games where, you know, teams are actually coordinated and it's not just randoms, most of the attacks happen at the flanks. The fights will happen in between the flanks instead of all over the map, which if you queue up for a random team game, that's usually what happens, in my experience at least. So that's why it's important to talk about the gold spots and the resource for the flanks, because if they get pushed off a gold, no archers for them and feudalates. A problem that the pockets don't have because, well, scouts don't cost gold. So we have a forward-ish gold here for orange, but it is on a hill, so that is not a gold that they will probably be going for. Has a back gold, though, so that's pretty nice. You know, wood lines are kind of to the back, so it's kind of like New Arabia in that regard, I guess. But yeah, you'd have to wall the front like this. This gold at least is to the back, so it's okay. Has a gold beyond this wood line, but that's not... You don't really want to take gold beyond your wood line as your first gold. And the reason for that is if you get pushed off of that, if you have to run your villagers back home, they have to go all the way around that wood line. That slows them down, bump into each other and things like that, and more of them will die on the way back. That's why. It's just not as safe. We have a forward-ish gold here for gray as well, but most of his resources are actually to the back here. We have some berries to the back, we have a main gold to the back, and another gold to the back as well, which if he starts walling at this wood line and just walls this whole side, that's all pretty safe at that point. So I don't think Gray's gonna be mad about his base. It's not too bad actually, especially because there's no... I mean, there's one giant hill over here. That hill could be a problem. If he walls here, then this hill is very important to control. Also to control this gold later on. Looks like blue maybe wanted to push in some deer, but red is here with an Eagle Scout, and you cannot beat an Eagle Scout in Dark Age with your Scout Cavalry, because the Eagle Scout simply has better stats. It has more HP and it has more attack as well. Yeah, so you can't beat this. So red can be very annoying, can stop blue from pushing in his deer here, which blue will probably not be very happy about. But hey, that's yeah, part of the game. But look at this, green and blue standing sending their scouts together, can now take a fight against red. And the worst part for red is he can actually run away from this easily because he's slower than his Eagle Scout is a little bit slower than the Scout Cavalry, so blue and green can still get some damage in while red runs away. But I think as soon as they reach red's base here, they'll probably run away, especially if yellow is going to join the fray as well. Yeah, now yellow comes, red sending a villager as well. Yeah, blue and green should probably back off here. Get the scout, gets the scout, at least there's that. That's good, and green's going to run away. That's probably for the best. Both of them just made it to feudal age as well, but I think green will die to this if he stays around, so he'll just have to run away for now. Now, as a back gold for blue, so at least there's that. That's pretty good. Has a gold to the side of the map too, but he's evidently using that as a wall instead of gold to take. That's nicely walled, so at least that keeps the back of your base safe here. Ooh, yellow taking some damage on his scout as well. Very nice. Has a forward gold, berries are to the side. There's a nasty hill in the back of his base here, which you would definitely want to control. Don't want to let your enemy sit on a hill like that. Hills are very important in Age of Empires after all. If you stand on a hill and your opponent is not, you can do bonus damage while shooting down that hill. Or even if you fight down that hill, which is why controlling hills is way more important than I ever thought when I first started playing this game. Well, gold-wise for red, it's kind of awkward. Has a forward gold, has another forward gold, which are both kind of outside what he is walling. Has a main gold though, but it's quite out in the open. So he's going to try to wall around that. So red will probably have to go a bit aggressive here to try to make sure the Ethiopian player cannot get to his gold, which that would be bad. That would be very bad. Obviously, Ethiopian archers are, after all, very scary. But Mayans are scary too, because they have cheaper archers. So you tell me what you like. More archers or archers that fire faster? It's gonna depend. It's gonna depend. As yellow has some scouts out around blue's base. I'm not seeing the scouts from green yet. He's keeping them at his own base for now. But yeah, the thing is, blue wants to wall this though. And if blue wants to wall this and there's no scouts from green, then suddenly now there's 3 scouts. And that's a weak villager as well. Oh, blue's gonna lose that villager for sure. Could even lose this second villager as well if he isn't careful about it. I think he forgot about it. He didn't see it. Oh no, another villager going down. Okay, green is on the way with scouts, but blue has already lost 2 villagers. So a very good early start there for Vikingos Nomadas. Yellow picking off 2 villagers. Very nice. On the other side, what do we have over here? Teal made a spearman as well, just to be annoying. Of course, he also has Magyar scouts, but Magyar scouts are still not stronger than 3 scouts attacking together. So, hey. Magyar scouts are stronger because they have that attack upgrade for free. Something that you do not get if you just get the feudal age. Because, well, you'd have to research the upgrade first. Magyar players don't have to do that. That's why they are so dangerous early feudal age, early castle age. Because that attack upgrade gives their units a slight advantage over everyone else. And especially makes it easier for scouts to kill villagers. Well, red and yellow are already here. Blue is trying to scramble up some walls here. It's not pretty, but it will do the trick. But he'll probably have to abandon his berries in a second here once the archers make it to them. Has some archers of his own to defend, but now his gold is under stress here. Green is kind of separated from blue as well, so they are not really fighting together here. Blue is trying to get to the hill as well. This is a critical moment as well. If they can take a good fight here and win this, that'd be nice. But oh yeah, green moving away from blue. And again, the army's not really joining up. You want to keep your armies together like yellow and red are doing. That makes it much more difficult to fight. But of course, it's difficult to get your armies together when, you know, your enemy army is right in between them. This is definitely true. So for now, they're going to be a bit more defensive. On the other side, teal and gray fighting together against purple, who does not have the support from orange just yet. Vietnamese, of course, take a bit longer to get going because, well, they don't really have a good eco bonus. Whereas Bohemians, at least at this point, they mine gold much faster than any other civ. So you don't actually need 8 villagers on gold to get the same amount of gold you would normally get from 8 villagers on gold. Because you get gold mining for free. And stone mining, by the way. It's a pretty solid bonus right there. As orange losing a wallville, and yeah, gray and teal looking to break in here and do some damage. On the other side, red and yellow still harassing the walls for blue, but blue and green are together now, can fight together. But red and yellow have a nice hill here to retreat to, which blue and green, they will know that. They don't want to take a fight anywhere near this hill, because that will favor Vikingos Nomadas. As green dodging a bunch of arrows there as well with his scouts. Has gotten some armor upgrades on his scout as well, which yellow did not do, but he did get the fact he's Franks, which means you get more HP on your scouts. Oh, Gray and Teal breaking into Orange's base now. Orange forced to drop a tower. Is that even going to go up? Ay. As Gray is microing down the archers from Orange at the same time. The tower might go up here. No, will not go up for now because Teal is sniping down the villagers for now. Teal also, by the fact that he brought some spearmen here, and Gray as well, makes it really difficult for Purple to engage here. Ooh, but Purple though, cutting off the reinforcements from Gray, killing a few free archers for free there. That's nice. But Orange off a gold, and that is bad. That is very bad. As Red and Yellow make it into Blue's base, snipe a villager as well. And this is the moment where Blue and Green will probably have to take a fight in a second here. This is looking good for Ice Delete on the left side, but on the right side it's still very critical as Yellow gets in on the archers from Blue, tries to snipe one, doesn't get any, but it's difficult. Okay, Green. He's going to stay in between. Like what the scout players are doing right now, they're trying to dodge as many shots as they can. As Blue doesn't feel comfortable with this, he's going to drop a tower anyways. And that might prompt Yellow and Red to force a fight here because they want to stop that tower maybe. Although, the fact that Blue is making a tower already good as Yellow and Green taking the fight here. But Yellow has more scouts. Also has the same amount of upgrades. And they are Frank Scout. And Red has more archers. So Ice Delete on the left side, definitely on the back foot here. We have a little revolving door game here. It's Orange who's on the back foot on the right. It is Blue who's on the back foot on the left. And you can tell by the scores, it's very similar between the two players. Looking at the build counts though, looks good all around I guess. Except for Orange who's down to 27 villagers. That's he's at a rough time right now as the Gray and Teal are diving beyond this house foundation, are taking a fight. Orange has lost most of his archers, is still losing villagers as well. Purple is trying to take fights against the scout, does get all the scouts from Teal, sending in some more scouts as well. So Purple doing the smart thing here, not just going up the castle age, but trying to get some, trying to stabilize on the right side as well. Because if he goes to castle age now, Orange is just going to die to this really hard. That's great, just sitting in the wood line for now. You can't really go anywhere else for now. Red and Yellow are outside of the walls for Blue again. They're trying to go for a different avenue of attack here. Town center is very close, so Blue smartly walling this up, and oh no! Quick wall fails! Oh, they are lucky. They are so lucky right now. Those scouts could have run right through and harassed some villagers on the gold. They could have totally done that. I mean, Yellow has been making a lot of scouts here. And they are Frank Scouts. Frank Scouts are dangerous. As Gray losing a bunch of his archers, and now it's going to get cleared up by Purple. And this is exactly what I mean. Purple goes with the castle age later, makes some more scouts, waits, gets his upgrade, waits for an opportune moment, and together with Orange, snipes those archers now. And Gray will have to run away from this. Could even lose more archers as well. Ow! This is why going to castle age at a good time, when you can stabilize the right side, which Purple's on the way to castle age, but it's so important. You can't it's a mistake to just let your flank die to this and say, oh, just hold on while I make it to castle age. No. If your flank has army in their base, you kind of have to help as the pocket, because the very fact is, you might be in castle age, but your flank's dead. So then you're still not going to be able to do anything with that. As that looked like a... No way. It's a hole. How is that a hole? What? And those are scouts with a lot of upgrades as well. They could still wreck villagers. You cannot fight these. You can't fight these scouts. They have armor. Villagers will die to this. Yeah, Gray has to send back his army now. Loses one villager. Loses another villager as well. Tries to... Well, let's say wall, maybe block the scouts a little bit. Okay, Gray does deal with the scouts now. But losing 3 villagers there is... kind of a big deal, as Red's archer numbers continue to climb over here, and I know that Blue is not feeling happy about this at all. He's also stopped producing archers as well, so has clicked out the castle age, but only 50% of the way there, defending mostly with a tower. But now Yellow could actually get Light Cav upgrade if he really wanted to. That's how many scouts he has. As Red and Yellow diving underneath the tower. Yellow's just going to go to the base of the tower and destroy that tower and make sure that Blue can never go to gold again. And remember, Blue's golds are all in very difficult spots here. It's so difficult for Blue to take this fight, as well as Yellow's scouts trying to get into the wood line for blue, and blue is gonna run away with those villagers. But no! Oh, so many villagers in the top here for the wood line. A wood line that blue thought, oh, that might be safe here, but it is not safe whatsoever, as more villagers get wrecked, and blue is just getting massacred right now. Absolutely massacred. Makes it to Castellate, but yeah, with how many villagers? 21. Ouch. Ouch. And that means that blue is not going to get to push red at any point here. Blue is going to be behind the rest of the game. It's going to come down to teal and gray now to make it happen on the other side, as purple finds his way to the archers here from gray. Gray losing a lot of archers before teal finally comes in to take the fight and help. Now, Magyar Knights are pretty strong, have an extra attack, but Persian Knights kill archers really quickly, and look at that. All the archers for Grey have gone down, and now he has one crossbow to upgrade, and Green is already under assault here, as Red and Yellow turn their attention to Green, who did not continue that wall at the back, and basically allowing Red and Yellow to just run right through here. And Green is not going to be happy about this one, I can tell you that, as we have another fight on the hill, but because there's some archers here, a little bit of help from those archers make it so that purple can win that night fight, and it's just not looking good. It's just not looking good for Ash Elite. I think about it, they're about to like lose big time on the left side, as we have a hole down there. Man, who would have seen that coming? They're in a very precarious position on the left. Like, blue has a small army, green has a small army, as green tries to get in on these crossbows. But I'm pretty sure that red is just going to sit right into that choke point and never let green's knight snipe this. Nah, no way. He's just going to hold that right back. Yeah, green, of course, can delete the walls. So at least there's that. But the micro from red is good. It's on a hill now as well. Green trying to take a fight here. It's a critical fight. If they can get a clear up of some sort, maybe. But the army numbers here for Vikingos Nomadas are just greater than Ash Elite's army numbers. I just don't think they can take a good fight here, especially with red and yellow on a hill as well, as green tries to get in on the crossbows. Snipes a whole lot of them. Blue is also helping a lot here, sniping a lot of these red crossbows. A lot of them have died, but yellow has more knights, and because yellow doesn't have to worry about trying to snipe crossbows, his knights can just fight whatever they can find, and blue and green are gonna get cleared up here. And that's it for the army count for them. At the same time, purple and orange make their way into Gray's base. Gray's dropping a panic TC on his gold just to try to secure himself, but it's just not looking good for Ashley on either side now, as teal and gray are scrambling, right? Scrambling to get their units back to defend themselves in the back of Gray's base, but oh man, and orange is on the way to Castellate as well, so these archers will become crossbows in a second there. But even if they aren't, like, nevertheless, as yellow doubles back right into blue's base and goes for the kill here with a lot of knights, +2 knights as well, Frankish knights, which basically are generic knights in Castle Age, honestly. Let's just be honest about it. But yeah, that tower is not going to stay up. I mean, yellow can easily take that right down. On the other side here, oh, nice for teal though, sniping all the units for orange just before he can upgrade them. He just got to Castle Age. He's getting crossbow right now, but those archers are goners. And purple is going to run away. So for now, gray and teal at least stabilizing. But the left side, though, I mean, green is trying his best, right? He's trying his best to spam as many knights as he can into this. Trying to maybe stabilize a little bit. But yellow just has too many knights over here. Too many. The floodgates are open. They cannot be closed anymore. And blue just... He's still at 22 villagers. He keeps losing villagers. And yeah, it's just... There's no way to come back from this. You can only defend. You can only defend, as red is now cutting off the reinforcements from green. I mean, he can't reinforce the front anymore. Already didn't have enough knights here to take fights. As is, it's just been a disaster on the left side. Absolute disaster for, yeah. And they realize it. They realize it as well, that this is just not going to go well. They will not be able to hold on this side. But red and yellow are just dominating blue and green right now, and gray and teal, they're just not. Right, they're not pushing orange in a way where you'd say, okay, this is an even game, right? This is an even game. Purple and orange are under the same amount of threat as blue and green. That's just not the case. Red and yellow were just faster to it. Yeah, it's really well played. This is such high level as well. Any kind of mistake is just going to get punished here. Just the aggression from red and yellow as well. Like, that's what I'm saying. Defending is always difficult because you're so likely to get behind defending. Whereas attacking, the only way you get behind is if you forget the macro in the back. And I think the players at this level, they will be able to do that while attacking at the same time. Like they will be able to go like this and this and this and this and this and this. You know, the thing that makes us pleb viewers dizzy, but for them it's just normal. You know. Man, GG. Let's update the scoreboard here. That would be the second score. Yep, it's 0-1. And let's have a look at statistics then. Alrighty, yeah, look at the kills there for yellow and red. Like, not only did they gain an advantage, they had more army in, you know, on the front than green and blue together, right? Like, normally when you fight in someone's base, it's easier for the defending player to reinforce. Like, that is the big advantage of defending, right? You can reinforce more easily. But red and yellow consistently had more units. They just made sure that blue and green could never get to a number of military that could threaten their forward force. They kept sitting in between green and blue so they could never join up and work together anymore. And that just worked out really well. And then that by the time that blue started losing a lot of villages, he couldn't afford archers anymore. He couldn't go to the gold. He couldn't make more crossbows. Yeah, and then the Mayan player is just going to outmass you, that's for sure. 41 army there. I mean, blue and green never got close to these army numbers. Like, look how much army they were making as well. I'm pretty sure that red and yellow, like, they were adding villages as well, but they were adding a lot of pressure in castle age. They wanted to get a quicker victory there. They didn't want that to go late and give gray and teal an opportunity to get back into this game. They didn't want that to happen. So instead, they just opened the floodgates and said, let's end this now. And that was the right call. It was the right call. You perceive a weakness in the right flank of Aishtalid. You know, if you look from their perspective, it's to the right, technically. That's how you would approach it, right? If two armies are approaching each other, the right wing, if it's the right wing of your opposing army looks to be the left for you, but it is their right wing, because they're looking opposite to you. So, yeah, on the left, obviously. Great economy there for yellow. Not followed closely by green, by the way. He kind of had to. Because he had to keep up with the night production. Man, look at the vill counts. Yeah, look at that. So they were like, that's why I didn't want to say they were all in, because they weren't all in, but they were booming at the same time as this, and they were just spamming military. You know, like what I'm trying to say is that they probably wouldn't have gone up the imp. Well, yellow wouldn't have gone up the imp anytime soon. He was just spamming knights. That's what they were doing. Red would probably have gone up to imp though. He's the archer player. You can gather food much more easily if you're the flank player. So that would have been a fast imp, but that would have been a disaster for blue and green for sure. That's why I called it here, because you know where that game's gonna go. You know, you can predict that. So yeah, the position was just horrible. Alrighty, well, you know, first game, there might be a bit of first game jitters as well. Like, the first game is also a time when you kind of feel the water, right? Like, you see, you kind of test your opponent and see what can we expect from them, how do they play, how aggressive are they more passive at the start, are they more aggressive at the start, what kind of strategy will work here, you know. That's what the first game is for, and Vikingos Nomadas is getting the better of Aishtalid. So, let's see if Aishtalid can go to their home map, right, which they have 2 of, and see if they can get a win here against Vikingos Nomadas. And let's make sure here that I get the right game. Yep, that's this one. Because they did a restart for the second one, I think. So let's... Yeah, they called a re. So let's see. Yep, this is the right one. And that will be Urales. Ooh, interesting. Let's go. I'm excited for this one. This should be good. Alrighty. Welcome to the second game here between Aishtalid on the left bottom corner versus Vikingos Nomadas in the top right. Welcome to Urales as well. And as you can see, players start with with 6 villagers but no town center, so they have to build that. But that's very nice. Of course, the person who's going to build that fastest is the Spanish player. As you can see in the purple, should have the town center up a bit before everyone else and start making villagers before everyone else. It is almost a vill lead, but... No, actually, blue was just before. Oh, blue is Spanish as well. Yeah, see, there you go. That's a Spanish privilege right there on what am I saying? On a nomad start. But yeah, anyways, the people are not going to be too far behind, so it's not really a vill lead-ish. I mean, technically it is, but like it's not like you're that far ahead here. In any case, let's introduce the players. We'll start with the players of the team whose home map this is. In the blue, we have Brutus playing as the Spanish, as we already noted. In the green, we have Toromantico playing as the Indians. I like that. In the teal, we have Rocola playing as the Cumans. In the gray, we have Kicking playing as the Italians. Good set choices. On the other side, in the red, we have Wineland playing as the Chinese. I like that. In the yellow, we see Teletubby Violetta playing as the Lithuanians. I like that as well. On this map, and I'll explain in a second why. In the purple, we have Milan Colin playing as the Spanish as well, as we noted. And then last but not least, we have Tatars for Allegria in the orange. And I love Tatars in this map. Perfect, perfect. So, while players get their early economy started, why don't we talk a bit about Urales as a map? Now, as you can see, players start on opposite sides of a giant mountain ridge in the middle of the map. As you can see, it's such a high mountain that it pushes birds to fly upwards when they hit the middle of the mountain. This is, I think, more than 7 tiles, so I don't know how you get a mountain that tall, but it's pretty sweet. Now, there is some extra golds on this mountain, as you can see, but the most important thing about the mountain ridge is precision. It's about getting a castle up, about getting military production buildings up on that hill, and from there push down into the valley of your opponent. And it's super difficult to push up here if you are trying to defend yourself. So getting a good position on this ridge is going to be essential to this game. Can also stall out games quite a bit. I would know, trust me. Trust me. And if you go to my YouTube channel and see that the one match between, what was it, Wild Pigs and Caballeros Serranos, then you would know too that this map can produce some wacky long games. I can tell you that one. That's all I will say about that. Now, as to this game, players start, of course, with 6 villagers instead of 3, which is helps you get your town center a bit faster. It is nomad technically, but I mean, you're not going to migrate your TC away, right? Like most people just built their TC on a wood line right next to where they started. It's kind of like Step in that regard. So it's just to get into the mood, right? Because this map is all about mobility. It's all about cavalry, cavalry archers as well. The more mobility, the better. Yeah, and that's about it for the map. So you also start with a relic in your town as well. It's kind of like your town's holy relic. Well, let's see, blues is right there. Which is why picking Lithuanians, which yellow has done, is such a nice thing to do on this map, because you guaranteed have 4 relics on your side, and relics that your opponents cannot deny. There's 4 relics. They're right next to the town centers for your teammates. There is no way, absolutely no way, that your opponents are going to get to snatch those away from you in early castle age. There's just no way. They'd have to push your opponent's DC first, and then they can get the relic, which is just unlikely. So we'll see. Oh yeah, and players start with a non-aggressive scout, which means either a horse or a Bactrian camel, which is nice on the nomad start. As we have teal starting the wall, so I'm getting some sense of what the strategy is going to be here for Ice Elite here. The idea here is to wall up most of the map, just team wall everything. They will try to defend that wall and maybe try to go fast castle before, but oh boy. That is not what Vikingos Nomadas are doing. That is not at all what they are doing. Look at that. 3 players already on the way to the feudal age. I think, yeah, orange is probably going to go for a fast castle strategy here as well, maybe. Actually, no, might just be archer. Looks like it's going to be feudal play for Vikingos Nomadas up against some fast castle attempt from Ice Elite here. I've seen them do that before. It has worked out for them in the past, but you have to get the walls up. This is the instrumental part. If you're gonna go for a greedy strategy, the walls have to be up by the time your opponents arrive with scouts. If there is one single hole in your walls, you are absolutely screwed. So we'll see how that's gonna go, right? Now, we could talk about civilizations just for a second here. So when we talk about the Spanish players, you think conquistadors, right? Not necessarily. Spanish have good cavalry as well. They get all the upgrades, so going paladin with Spanish is not a bad idea at all. So honestly, you have options more than most people would think. Infantry isn't bad actually with Spanish either, but I don't think you want to go infantry on a map like this. It's too open. So yeah. When it comes to Tatars, obviously we're talking about cavalry archers. When you have a giant hill like this, it's easy for Tatars to control this. Like, try pushing Tatars off of this hill. Good luck with that one. That's not going to work out for you in most cases. For Lithuanians, that's obviously going to be knights. Knights with more attack as well, so very scary knights. For Chinese, I should expect Arbalest with great economy behind that as well, so we'll see about that one. As And like, this is also important about Ash Delete, right? You're not just walling, you're committing to the walls. And you have to commit to the walls because, well, one layer of palisade wall ain't gonna cut it. Ain't gonna cut it. Now with Italians, you have faster in potential, which is pretty nice. I expect archers, you might even go for Genoese crossbowmen if you want to do that. I'm not seeing grey on stone or anything, so we'll see about that one. As for teal, this is actually fast castle territory. It's not going to be a 2TC boom, so I don't know about that. But teal, what? But how is there a hole here? You had one job. Oh god. Oh god, that's a disaster. Oh, he has to fix that hole right now. But look what Vikingos Nomadas is doing. Look what they're doing. They're keeping their camels there. And Teal is scrambling to get the walls up. Gets those palisade walls up though. But that villager, he's trying to get as much HP on these walls as he can. But Red is here with some archers already. And this is such a rocky start. And now you've got scouts on both sides of the walls. And that is an absolute disaster here, because this means one thing. You have to wall in your resources, and you can't just go to castellates here without making military to protect yourself. So yeah, Teal recognizing that is just going to drop a second town center, because he knows the floodgates are open and there's nothing to stop it now. Absolutely nothing to stop it now. We saw a situation like this yesterday as well, but this one is even worse, I think, because these walls are so far away from your side that there's just nothing you can do about it. And this is the horrible realization about walling like this, is that look at the commitment from walls. Look how much wood was invested in that, and it's all nullified just because there's a hole right there. That hole nullifies that entire wall, because now the wall is as good as nothing, because all the military from Vikingos Nomadas can stream right through the middle here. Oh my god, this is... I mean, there's one part of the strategy that's just important. Make sure your opponents can't get into your economy while you go up to castellates. You have to keep them out until you go to castellates, because if you don't, you have to scramble to get the walls down. Now, green and blue have clicked up the castellates, so at least they're on the way, but... oh god! And the scouts make it into the gold as well! Oh, disaster! Luckily, these scouts do not have a lot of upgrades, but 2 villagers dying for green, it's just... And this is the thing, like, you have to scramble to get up to the next stage, and you can't make military. You can't afford to make military. Vikingos Nomadas just all over Ash Delete now, and they might make it to castellates, but they're going to be so delayed that basically Vikingos Nomadas, even though they're not going up to castellates, they don't go fast castle, they might still get there around a similar time, or at least not too late here. And they will have army to boot. Right, they will. That's the difference between a greedy player and a military player. It's that when you go greedy, and I know that sounds negative, but that's just what people call it. When you go greedy for economy, if you lose that economy to your opponent's aggression, then at that point you have a similar economy, but your opponent has army, which is, yeah. Well, what would you prefer? Obviously, to have the army. As red and purple are just going to stay right out here, make sure that hole that never gets patched, and they can just run right through everyone's eco. And this is also the big disadvantage of team walling. It's the fact that wall protects you if your opponents stay on the outside of the wall. But once they get inside, that wall doesn't protect anyone anymore, because now these scouts can run anywhere. These archers can go wherever they want. And Steel does make it to the castellates here as well. So at least we have 3 players now in castellates. This is the moment to strike for Ash Delete. They have to get some castellates military out. They have to try to do some damage now. Clear up these armies, maybe fix this wall, and then go for a counter. Ironically, Orange has been walling the same way, and he doesn't have to worry about a counter anytime soon, because, well, all the pressure that is being exerted on everyone's base here, as Gray has not been able to click up either. He didn't go past castle, that's why. But he's been severely delayed by that one. Now the Conquistadors are coming out. At least Conquistadors do not have a good counter in early castellates, so at least these Conquistadors can push away whatever army Orange... Well, maybe not... I mean, they should be able to kill this army, honestly. Like, the damage output for Conquistadors, the fact they have 2 pierce armor, should help them kill this army here. Orange is denying a wood line from green for now. Green will have to mass his camels, his Indian camels, which has extra pierce armor, but yeah, no pierce armor beyond that, so they still can't take a fight against these archers, which do 4 damage, which is just good enough. And now, as you can see, look, Vikingos Nomadas going up to Castellates, and they're late Castellates. Normally that would be a problem, right? If you get attacked and your opponent goes to Castellates before you, that'd be a disaster, because then suddenly you are at a tech disadvantage and you have to scramble to get up. But in this case, there's no counter damage that can be done here. There's no counter damage. And even if Ash Delete clears up all this military in their base right now, and there's a lot of it too to hunt down, even if they do that, still, they can't counterattack, because now Vikingos Nomadas is just copying what Ash Delete is doing. It's like, okay, well, we'll team wall as well. And they're doing it very casually. They don't have to scramble to get that up. As blue and green are trying to get rid of this army. Like I said, the camels with no pierce armor are definitely dying fast to the archers here. As blue's trying to micro away, tries to snipe as many of these archers as he can. He can basically one-shot them at this point. And that always sucks about microing with Kongs. If you click them away before the animation finishes, it takes a while before they restart their animation. That kind of sucks. Yeah, look at Gray's base. He's had to wall the back of his base because it's so unsafe. There's just army everywhere right now. The gold is being denied, which means that Gray has gold available to him. So at least there's that. He can start making some things, getting a town center up as well. But yeah, this hole is still there. It's still there, and Vikingos Nomadas can send over military whenever they want. Whenever they want. Doesn't matter. There's also a hole between these double walls as well, because, well, palisade walls are simply not going to cut it anymore at this point. As, ooh, green, finally plugging that hole, making sure that purple can send in more scouts here, which have a bunch of upgrades right now, so... Ash Delete are going to have to... H Delete, they are going to have to... They're going to have to fight hard here. They can't just sit back and maybe... Well, they can try to outboom. If you look at the Vil counts... it's just they're not ahead in the Vil counts either. So even if they start booming now, they'll still be... They still wouldn't get ahead of Vikingos Nomadas if they add their town centers now as well, which they will. You know, they will start booming behind safe walls themselves. Like, there is no way for Ash Delete to do a counterattack here. And it sucks. It sucks that all of this comes back to this hole. It really does. And I know that, you know, Teal's gonna beat himself up about that. I mean, that happens to the best of us. You know, like, that's... Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, the hole in the wall does lead to this if Vikingos Nomadas finds that hole and then capitalizes on it like they have. And they have totally capitalized on it. They just can run around unopposed. They have army, whereas... Ash Delete just does not have army right now. They're just being harassed everywhere. Or maybe it just... And you know, the thing is also that that at this rate, Vikingos Nomadas can get castles up in the middle all they want. So... This, by the way, is the correct way to deal with the quote-unquote greedy wall strategy, right? You have to try to break the walls, which means that someone has to go for ranged units and try to punch through a wall somewhere. You can't just let your opponent sit behind those walls, because if you can't punish it, well, your opponents are just simply going to get the Castellates before you, make Castellates military, and then, well, you're going to be in a bad spot. Like actually these opponents were in the semifinals, if I remember that correctly. They actually did this very strategy, right? They tried to get that strategy up. And Steel has actually house-walled this hole now, but the thing is, we're in Castellates now, and in Castellates, palisade walls don't stop military anymore. They delay military, they don't stop it anymore. So, at this point, you want to have the army to stop Vikingos Nomadas from getting in, but yeah. And that's the worst part about trying to execute a strategy, right? It's that when a strategy does not work, it looks really bad, right? And if it works, it looks awesome. There's not really much in between. And how are you doing, Chanchilero? Good to see you, man. But yeah, that's the thing with it's just the thing with strategy. It's all about execution. And if it doesn't work, then... I mean, it is an all-in kind of strategy. Like Ash Delete knew the risk they were taking, trying to go past castle, most of them. It was a big risk, and it has just not paid off in the slightest. At all. They didn't get an early lead by going to Castellates. They were delayed at every point, and now they are just behind. and they're constantly fighting. You know, it's that game where it's when a dam is leaking, right? And like water springs out of one hole, and you plug it up with your finger, and then it just pops out of another hole. You have to plug that with your finger, and that just continues on forever. It's basically a game of whack-a-mole now. Actually plugs a hole, and then Vikingos Nomadas run right into another hole again. And look at that, so much military for Vikingos Nomadas. They've been consistently reinforcing as well, trying to get in here, keeping these holes open so their lines of communication stay untouched. And they can just go wherever they want because they're team walls. These walls do not protect the individual players, so they can't... Like, green can't stop. Even though this hole was at blue's base, green is not safe as a result of that. But you have to really think, like, what does actually do in this situation? Like for one, I don't think you kind of have to get rid of these armies. You have to somehow make sure that these armies can't continuously harass you, because as long as these armies are in your base, you're not gonna get to really boom here. You're not gonna get to have a nice economy. You're just gonna get continuously harassed here. So maybe if Gray and Teal can maybe bounce back here, they have mostly stabilized now. Maybe if they can bounce back, maybe gather some army and help Green and Blue. But yeah, Green is probably not loving life right now. I'm pretty sure that Green is not loving life right now. Not when you have 3 armies in your base, man. Not when you have this much army in your base. He's also getting some mangonels now, so he will try to maybe see if Orange is going to be ballsy enough to go right next to his Siege Workshop. Oh, that's not a mangonel then. Oh, I thought that was a mangonel. Okay. I thought he was going to go for some mangonel shots and maybe see if he could land a shot here and there on these crossbows. Teal bringing in a mangonel though. I want to see if they can defend. If they can get a nice clear up here, maybe stabilize somehow. Maybe there's still a shot, but it's a long shot at this point. Especially if you look over the vill counts. Yeah, like yellow at 110 villagers. I mean, no one in Ice Elite's team is even close to 110. I mean, Teal and Grey are finally getting their booms going, but Blue and Green are... just like last game, Blue and Green just will have to defend here. They can't really go out. Now, luckily for Blue, the unit he's going for is, though an expensive unit, it's still a low economy type unit, right? You don't really boom while you make Conquistador, so that's okay, right? It's alright. As we now have stone walls going up for Grey. I mean, they're still committing to the walls, and you kind of have to at this point. You need to buy yourself some time. If you're behind your opponent, you need to buy yourself time and keep them out as long as possible and try to get at the imp, but it's... Honestly, I think a better strategy instead of these walls, maybe instead of going straight fast castle with everyone, I'd say half the team goes fast castle and the other half goes straight fast to feudal. Makes archers to protect the walls and stone walls behind, right? If you're going to commit to it like that. So that 2 players can do that, and the other 2 players go fast castle, right? So that you have stone walls to protect yourself instead of just palisade walls. That might be more effective there in the long term. As Orange just has a giant number of crossbows. I mean, at least there is the fact that Orange can't upgrade these crossbows, as Teal's trying to get around the crossbows. There's some mangonels here as well, so Orange wants to micro away from this, but Purple is going to send some military to snipe these mangonels. The Conquistador player is trying to get in between there. There's a lot of mangonels as well that Purple can snipe, and so many mangonels going down over here. The Knights from Teal have gone down, and without the mangonels, it's going to be very difficult to kill all these crossbows, as Orange just easily one-shots these Conquistadors at this point. Yeah, F's indeed. Oh my god. It just feels so bad, right? Because you see what Ice Elite was going for. And they probably also figured, Vikingos Nomadas are a very aggressive team. Maybe we need to buy ourselves a bit of time here and try to get... Did Yellow seriously send a monk for it to try to steal a relic in someone's base? Yellow, I know you're Lithuanians, I know you like relics, but that's like... Yellow. No. No way. He's not actually gonna get that relic, right? Green. Okay, Green saw it. Thank God. Yeah, you cannot let him get that relic. That's like, that's just, that is almost bordering on disrespectful, almost. That is a cheeky monk right there. And remember that Yellow already has relics. Yeah, Yellow has probably just gathered all the relics of his teammates. Where's the monastery? I can't find... Oh, there it is. Well, he even built it in the middle just to say, like, I might collect your relics as Ice Elite calls to GG, because, like I said, even though Ice Elite got up the castle faster, they weren't ahead of Vikingos Nomadas, and Vikingos Nomadas got nice castle times, just boomed around there, and yellow and red are just gonna go straight up the imp, and now you've got Cavalier in your base, and you're defending with castle age units. Yeah, I mean, I can only call it a disaster for Ice Elite, you know, especially because I know exactly what they were going for. I've seen them do this strategy. I've seen this strategy work, right? It is so difficult to punish this strategy if you can keep the walls up, if someone commits to it like Ice Elite did. It's just that one darn hole right here. That one hole is the reason that the game went the way it did. If that hole had not been there, Red would have come out with archers, yes, but Teal would have been able to scramble up a wall maybe behind it. You know, you would have at least been able to defend here and there. While you go up the castle, it's just stone wall, right? Things like that. Commit to it. Because the moment that there is a hole, suddenly now there were scouts on both sides. And Teal, though he tried to get the walls up, you can't. You can't get the walls up. You can't wall behind it because there's scouts there. And at that point, if there's one hole, the entire Vikingos Nomadas army can just run right through and spread out. Yeah, basically like a nomad army would do. By the way, that's exactly what nomad armies would do. They would go find a weak spot. I mean, I'm not saying that conventionally in Middle Ages people would build walls this long, right? That's no, but that's what they would do. When a nomad army went for a raid on another country, first what they would do, that a year before or something like that, they would send out scouts to scout out the terrain, the cities, the defenses, things like that. And then the next year, the army would enter the border and immediately split up into raiding parties. Raid everywhere, just like Vikingos Nomadas was doing, and then once your opponent tries to muster an army to take out your raiding parties, you just retreat, and then all the raiding parties converge into one giant army again to fight at a spot that they determined already the year before, knowing that the terrain was good for a battle there. It is so incredibly difficult to deal with, and medieval, especially Europeans, sedentary empires had trouble with that. Ice Elite had trouble with that as well. It's just so difficult once military is going through your base, just running everywhere, and you just have to keep chasing and reacting, and you can never really get a counter in. Like, remember that Ice Elite didn't make it to their opponent's base at any point this game. Like, they haven't been beyond this wall. They couldn't. They just couldn't. So much pressure going on from Vikingos Nomadas. I mean, I can only praise Vikingos Nomadas for finding that hole and exploiting that opportunity, right? Like, a lot of teams might have not capitalized on that, but yeah, sending the military forward, they saw an opportunity, and then at that point, having feudal age military is much better than, well, not having military at all. Let's look at the KD here. Yeah, good KD for blue. That's being a conquistador player. That's what that is like. You can get a good KD usually with conquistadors. Yeah. The reason why purple didn't have that great of a KD is because he didn't go for conquistadors. It was mostly scouts for purple and then knights. So, you know. But yeah, yellow didn't really contribute that much to the fighting. He didn't have to. He had some scouts here and there, but he just went straight up the imp and got to cavalier, and that won them the game. Same with red, right? Red was running around with crossbows, barely lost a crossbow. Look at that. Lost one crossbow. And remember that Red had his army spread out through the Ice Elite base for a pretty long time. It's just so difficult to counter archers if you don't have skirmishers or anything, or knights or something like that to counter them. Losing just one, that's crazy. That's absolutely insane. Looking at the booms here, yeah, very nice booms for yellow and red. They were definitely trying to add some economy. Gray and teal were close behind. They were close behind. Teal was actually on the way to imp as well when they called to GG, but it was just, yeah, just Vikingos Nomadas had one, they had military control, two, they had a hole to go through, and three, they had a better economy. So overall, right? So it's just, yeah, I just, you know, you're trying to find the words and you're trying to like find the positives as well, but I just. Yeah, just for actually, like, everything that could go wrong this game went wrong. And they defended admirably. They definitely did. But they know as well as we do that it was not a good situation to be in. It must have been very frustrating as well. I can only imagine. So yeah, GG. Let's update the scoreboard here, and we will have to go to the final home map for Ice Delete. They have to win this game if they want to stay into the finals, or else Vikingos Nomadas will claim the title. So let's see what home map that will be. That will be, oh boy, oh boy. Now that is some home map to choose. That is some home map to choose. That is, well, I am glad that that the Ice Delete indulged my wishes, because I asked people to choose to pick this map so that I could cast it. Well, here we go. Welcome to Terrazas Andinas. Oh yes, you didn't think we would see that map anymore, did you? But here we are, Terrazas Andinas, the final home map for Ice Delete. So welcome to the third game, and let's see what Ice Delete can do on this wackiest of maps. In the blue, we have Brutus playing as the Chinese. Very nice. In the green, we have Toromantico playing as the Khmer. I like that as well. In the teal, we have Rokola playing as the Slavs. Again, a sip for this map. In the gray, we have Kicking playing as the Tatars. Like that as well. Mostly. I have some reservation about the Tatars on this map, and I'll tell you in a sec why. In the red, we have Wineland playing as the Japanese. In the yellow, we also have Khmer for Teletubby Violetta. Very nice. In the purple, we also have Slavs for Millen Colin. Both team pockets picking the same civs. And there's a good reason for that, by the way. And then in the orange, we have Floor 13. And she's playing as the Portuguese. Alrighty. Well, now let's talk about the map, shall we? So as you already saw, players start with no sheep at their town center. You'd have to go into the valley and take the llamas that are down here, right? If you want some herdables, right? But you do start with some farms, some free farms that you can take. They are Dark Age farms, so it's not like the best in the world. But hey, you know, we take the free food, right? Does Chinese get extra vills on this map? Yes, they do. They do get extra vills on this map. As I did notice. Of course, you still start with no food, so I think it evens out at the end. But you do get extra vills, and of course, already has loom, so it's technically a villager lead. Yep. As blue went forward and lamed some of the llamas for orange there. Oh, that's nice for blue. You know, any bit of advantage that you can take, you should take, of course, on this map. Because there's no boars here, so if you want the food, you will have to use your farms and the llamas you can get. Now, players start on a little terraced hill. That's what, the Terrazas Andinas name comes from, of course. Yeah, which is easy to defend because it's downhill. You have to push uphill if you want to push this base, right? But that would be nice for the Tatar player, because of course that hill bonus damage is much greater for Tatar players. On the sides of the map, you have all the golden stone that you could ever desire. It's on both sides as well, so teams will in the end have to control these ridges as well. And all the wood is in the middle, and I mean all the wood is in the middle. You have some bushes here and there on your hill, but that's not really where you want to take your wood from. You want to be able to control these wood lines in the middle. It's kind of like Atacama. It's kind of like other maps that have a feature like this. Now you might have noticed, but Red Prince, look, there's trees up there. Yes, I know there's trees up there. Very well spotted. But these trees have 10 wood. And also, it's very difficult to get a lumber camp up here. It's just not really worth it to try to get it. Like, imagine, in order to pay back a lumber camp here, you'd have to cut 10 of these trees. And then you still have to cut trees in order to actually gain wood. So it's just not worth it. I mean, that's the beauty of Age of Empires, is that one tree with 100 wood pays back a lumber camp. So, it's at least you always get your investment back, huh? Now, as you can see, Teal already going to the wood line here. You might ask, but why do both players here go for Khmer and Slavs? Well, the reason is very simple. It's because you start with farms. So basically, picking a civ that does well with farms, say Khmer, which don't have to drop off their food, or Slavs, which farm 10% faster, it's basically a civ bonus on this map. In essence as well, so they definitely get better uptimes, which is why both teams have opted to pick those civilizations on this map. Now, Chinese, as I already said, start with more villagers, so that it leads to a small vill lead. It balances out, right? As for Portuguese, I don't see Portuguese as especially well suited for this map. maybe one thing that helps is the fact that you start with limited amounts of gold. So with limited amount of gold, you can make more units with Portuguese simply because, well, the gold cost for Portuguese units is lower. So there's that. Now for red, for Japanese, I think the main benefit that I could see from Japanese here is the fact that if they need to move their lumber camps, and you might in this map, you easily can with Japanese, because your resource buildings are 50% off. And it looks like he doesn't even care about the llamas over here, or maybe didn't spot them that he has them. In any case, whatever the reason, they're right there. And then last, Tatars, right? So like I said, I like Tatars, but I have one reservation about Tatars. When you pick Tatars, right, like you usually keep in mind, does the map have hills? And that's the good question to ask when you're a Tatars player, simply for the reason that that hill bonus is so helpful in fights, whether you go melee units or archer units, right? But this map is flat. This map is very flat. Like, this is an actual valley. There's no elevation in the middle here. And then if you make it to your opponent's base, you are likely to have to fight uphill. In that case, the Tatars don't really get they actually don't get an extra bonus when they sit downhill. It's only when they're uphill. They take less damage and they do more damage. But downhill, they still take as much hill damage as everyone else does. Like, that's not the bonus. Apparently. I figured that out the hard way too. As I hope that Gray's gonna wall this. Yep, he's gonna wall that. There we go. Very nice. Now, wood control is important in this map. Very important. I've seen games where one team went forward with towers, just to tower the wood lines of their opponent, and it's very easy to kick your opponent off of wood altogether with a lot of aggression here. That's not what Ashdalid is going for. I think that might have been the idea when they picked this map. I'm pretty sure they have done that before. But I think they are also trying to be a bit more cautious this time around. They probably feel, they're behind by 2 games. They're up against an insanely strong team as well. Vikingos Nomadas has been dominant this tournament all around. Ever since I started casting them like a month and a half ago. You definitely want to take, you don't want to take some extra risks, unnecessary risks beyond what you normally would have to do. So I understand that. Yeah, the scouts already coming forward from Vikingos Nomadas. They're hoping to gain another success like they did last time. As Purple finds, he sees that these villagers are not walled in, so he might send his scouts this way then to try to snipe some vills. Teal taking a risk there, not walling in his villagers as well, so we'll see. We'll see. As pretty much everyone is going to go for some military here. Very nice. Red's gonna go for a tower, and Gray can't see that tower, but he's gonna see it in 3, 2, 1, and boop. And Gray's like, oh no. And the worst part about this, you can't even run away with your vills right now because of all the aggression from Vikingos Nomadas. Yeah, Teal making the spearman there should help a little bit. And Purple, yeah, this is what I said. Purple scouted that wood line, didn't tell Teal that he found that, and now sends in his scouts and gets 3 villagers over there. Teal hasn't responded to that. Quick walls in the villagers, so at least these 2 villagers are safe, but loses 3 villagers on the wood line, and that's not a good start already. And the worst part is, the other wood line is still unsafe as well. There is a spearman here which is trying to kill this scout before it kills the villager from Teal. Gets that though, so at least the vill is safe, but the other villagers just gonna go down here as well. Oh god. Oh, why didn't you wall your wood lines, Teal? I think, yeah, Teal just now has some spearmen to defend at least, but yeah, well, Purple's going to be very happy with this. Killed 6 villagers with this. Could even get this weak vill down here if he happens to spot it. On the other side, Green is over here with scouts to defend Gray, because Teal is busy right now defending his own base. Okay, Teal did find that villager. She's going to be a farmer, safe at home at the top of the base here. That makes sense. And Green probably has to wall in his villagers as well. Because Purple he's still scouting around for stuff like this. He's still scouting around. Now, luckily for Purple, he can jump into these houses if he wants to. He's Khmer after all. As we have a fight on the other side. As Green and Yellow are taking a fight, having a little scout war. But Red has significantly more archers than Gray over here. Yeah, I don't know. Japanese are a decent flank civ. Definitely so. I think Tatars really get dangerous in Castle Age. But until that, Japanese and Tatars... yeah, those are the right civs. I would kind of favor Japanese in that matchup. Until Tatars get cavalry archers out, until they get thumb ring for free and castellate. You know, at that point, obviously, you'd favor Tatars in that matchup. Japanese don't really have any specialty beyond infantry, right? They can basically do everything. They're basically a jack of all trades kind of civilization, which is fine too. It's good to have. It's like Incas, but. Yeah, as teal, I mean, yellow finds another villager here for gray that was just chopping some stragglers here, and yep, that villager goes down as gray is now forced to drop a tower on 39 stone to protect his farms and the rest of his base, and yellow's trying to get in here. Very nice quick wills from gray to keep this out. He's still doing it. The scouts now make it to the base, but they're going to abandon this because that tower will go up. And honestly, I think yellow doesn't care. The fact that he forced the tower, he's already going to be happy with that one. Well, blue's going to move forward here, try to get a nice advantage over orange. I'm not seeing orange make a whole lot of military right now. Okay, there it is. There it is. So orange did make an army. Is forced to drop a tower now on her wood line, which means that she will not be able to boom easily in the next age. But I don't think she's going to be too worried about that one, as all 4 villagers building that tower go down, and blue will be very happy with that. But we'll still have to run away now because, oh boy, here comes purple, and teal has to join this fight really quickly now because otherwise blue is going to lose some archers there. Blue microing away, very nice. Purple now joining the fight. Teal joining the fight. Orange has less archers than blue does. So on this side, teal and blue kind of a slight advantage, I would say. Slight advantage. Also sniping those villagers on the wood line. It looked like there were 2 towers, but that's just because the archer range looks the same. Yeah, it looks pretty good. This is alright, but orange though, sniping a lot of archers from blue, and blue in the end still has only 3 archers left, and that's... It's not maybe not the clear up they hoped for, but at least they are technically winning there, as another spearman ingloriously dies to a leopard here. On the other side though, red and yellow making it to the top of Gray's base once more. Gray forced to drop another tower on his tower. Oh, why are the villagers? They're fighting. He's trying to fight against the scouts. Scouts with armor and with bloodlines as well. The archers are here, and Gray is getting massacred right now. And he is angry at these scouts. He is very angry at these scouts right now. Trying to kick him out of town, but not at the cost of a few villagers of himself. And yeah, just look at the production queue as well from yellow and red. Just forward, constantly sending villagers. Military forward. And Gray now is also going to have to drop a tower on his wood line, and he kind of has to. It's the only wood line he still has. As Green is trying to get into this wood line for yellow. He could do that because this wood line is still open, but yellow is now going to address that. He's going to quick wall in his villagers over here. There's still a hole right there, but I think Green can still get in if he finds that hole. But and they called it GG. They called it GG. They just realized it's just not going well for us. We're being pushed off of our wood lines. We are too far ahead, and it must also be a bit of respect here for your opponent. Vikingos Nomadas is such a strong team. They have performed so well throughout the Virgo Cup. And Vikingos Nomadas with Ashtalit tapping out here are going to be the Virgo Cup champions for Category A. After what can only be described kind of as a stomp. It's just... What can I say? I mean, it's a 3-0. That's one thing. I mean, I feel bad for Ashtalit that they weren't able to get a game on Vikingos Nomadas. You know, like you always wish that every team gets to win a few here and there. You know, that it's a more even matchup. But in the end, the strongest team will win, and the strongest team has won. Congratulations to Vikingos Nomadas as well for becoming the Category A champions. I mean, they went through a lot of strong teams, and I'm pretty sure that they have basically... Did they ever lose a game? I'm pretty sure they have not lost a single game this entire tournament. I think they were one of the only teams. I mean, there were 2 teams in Category A in the group stage that didn't lose a single game. It was Clan Seed and Vikingos Nomadas. And, well, if they made it all the way here, they definitely didn't lose anything during the playoffs. So I think Vikingos Nomadas just unbeaten, undefeated so far. Yeah, just a very good performance. Yeah. Also, praise for Ice Elite as well for making it this far. They can nevertheless be proud of themselves for, they also went through a lot of difficult opponents. The semifinals versus Fugic was one of the best sets of the tournament as well. So that was that almost felt like their final already. So they can be proud of themselves, even if they weren't able to really shine this time around here. Oh, did they lose games? Vikingos Nomadas to Clan Sid, another one into Sons of the Sun. Huh. Well, I mean, I don't know the brackets. We can always check on the tournament page. It will probably have the information there. I just remember Vikingos Nomadas being a very strong team. Have been all through the tournament. Yeah, it's just it's a deserved win, right? I mean, there can be no doubt that Vikingos Nomadas was the stronger team here. I mean, it might also be that it actually just wasn't their day as well. Like you saw that things that you wanted to go right didn't go right, and the stress of the finals maybe got to them. Who knows? Might have been a bit nervous. I don't know what it was, but yeah. Well played by everyone. Everyone can be proud here. And, we're all winners here. Especially us viewers who get to watch all these awesome games. And, of course, me as the caster, because I get to cast awesome games. Hey, it's a win-win-win all around. But, yeah. GG. We can have a quick look at the statistics, but yeah, I mean this was a shorter game. I think as the Elite they might have continued here. They weren't dead yet, but they probably felt a bit demoralized. How the other two games had gone. They know what Vikingos Nomadas can do with the lead. So I understand that they didn't want to prolong this any more than they felt that they had to. So yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if you look at the army counts here, much more army on the field for Vikingos Nomadas overall, at least. If you average it out, and those little bits make a big difference in Age of Empires, as you can see by the KDs as well. That was also a lot of villagers. Yeah, yellow and purple finding those Vil kills was very nice for them. So. I wonder if Ash Delete had actually gone for that YOLO tower strat in the wood line. I wonder how Vikingos Nomadas would have dealt with that one. Because if they got pushed off their wood lines, right, that would have been awkward to deal with, to be sure. That, of course, is an all-in strategy. It doesn't always lead to a win, but it is very fun to watch. Yeah, great economy here. Khmer players, of course, happily farming away. Ironically, that's kind of funny. Looks like the Khmer bonus is a better farming bonus than the Slav farming bonus. Although, of course, we don't know how many villagers were farming for each of these players. But yeah, looking at the Vil counts. Yeah, Vil counts overall was still quite. Well, it was of course a lead for Vikingos Nomadas. They all had above 40 villagers. Teal and Grey lost a bunch of villagers early on as well, so that does hurt. Yeah. Alrighty, well let me update the score here just before we go on to the next set, and then we can have a look at that, and then all I can say, GG, congratulations Vikingos Nomadas, and good luck next time, of course, for Ash the Elite. And I'm just very happy, fortunate to have been able to cast all of this. Category A has always delivered on the games. It always has been exciting, so. Yeah, it's fantastic.